This is Jilliana Ranicar-Breese, and this is part 2 of my conversation with François Poirel. Okay, so at the moment we're talking about Paloma Picasso. Tell me about her, because what was your position there?
My position was, again, I was the CEO of the company, which was making mainly leather goods, handbags, which are a great seller, and all the rest of the business we were in, including the fragrance, was done under licensing agreements.
Oh, okay, because I think of, when I think of her, I think of perfume.
Well, the two...
And the colour red.
Yeah, of course, which is the one colour and the one fragrance. And, the two major licensees were L'Oréal for the fragrance and the lipstick, and Tiffany for the jewelry.
Oh, okay.
Paloma was with Elsa Peretti. They were the only two outside designers who had their name on the products they made for Tiffany's. Tiffany, of course, had a design studio, had outside designers, but they didn't sign the products.
Right, but she did.
And Paloma had their own definite collection under their name within the Tiffany organization. Okay. And they both still have today.
Yeah. And you surprised me, but Paloma Picasso lives in Cheyne Walk in London.
In a beautiful house. And
you've been there with
I was fortunate enough to go there several times for meetings with Paloma to talk about the long-term development of the company, talking about the leather goods because she was the designer, talking about the development of the licenses with Tiffany and with L'Oréal. And of course I had the pleasure of seeing some of the paintings which she owned, which were on the walls of
How many did she have there?
A lot. For me, a lot. I mean, but I'm sure she has many more.
Yeah, but hanging. I mean, you can only hang so many on a wall, can't you?
Well, it was not overcrowded, but that's why I think she must have had many more. But it was certainly extremely impressive, and they were from several periods. When Pablo Picasso passed away, the inheritance, the French organized a new inheritance tax system to allow the family to keep some of the paintings. So they made a donation to the state. And the state,
in fact, at the moment, there's is it the Grand Palais or no, Musée d'Orsay?
It opens tomorrow.
Ah, right. It's the pink and blue period.
Pink and blue period. But what the French government did, which was very intelligent, so as the market wouldn't just be destroyed by selling, they went and they chose from the whole of the collection owned by the family what would go to the state, and they bought from each period. They didn't just hog the most expensive. They took to have the whole display. And when you go to the Picasso Museum in Paris, which has been refurbished about 18 months ago, it is. And I'd seen it originally, and you see it now. The new presentation is absolutely extraordinary. I mean, it's a really something everybody coming to Paris must go and see. And try to go there very early or very late, because otherwise it's very crowded.
And I've also been to Malaga, of course, where Picasso came from.
And there's also the Picasso Museum in Barcelona, which are what he painted, at least when I went there, haven't been there recently, what he painted before he moved to Paris at age 20. Oh. So it's very strange, it's very classic.
Where's Guernica?
Guernica is, isn't it at the Queen Sofia Museum in Madrid?
Can't remember.
I believe it's Guernica, I believe it's...
Yeah.
It used to be at the MoMA, and I believe they gave it back to Spain. I wouldn't check on that. I wouldn't.
Back to Paloma. We're getting off track here.
But Paloma still has. What's interesting is that she always signed officially as Paloma Ruiz Picasso, because actually Pablo's father was Mr. Ruiz. And his mother was Mrs. Picasso, and it's officially in Spain, the two names are attached.
That's right.
And when the son started painting, his father was a teacher of painting in Barcelona, so he took his mother's name as a painter.
Ah, I see.
So it was always interesting to see when she signed officially Paloma Picasso.
Yes. Oh, interesting. So, anyway, where were we? Yes, so in the year 2000, you were given an ultimatum by your wife, I believe.
I moved, we separated, with Paloma. It was, difficult, the influence of her second husband, court cases between her former husband, and it was not easy situation. So I decided to leave the company.
Uh-huh.
I came back to New York, where my daughters were living, and we had kept a place. And my wife told me in very not uncertain terms.
After almost 50 years of marriage.
No. In those days it was only it was 30 odd years. She said, you can take a job wherever you want, but your wife, your children, and your furniture, and I don't know the exact order, remain in Paris.
All right.
And I must admit that I've been a very bad husband, because throughout all the moves we made, I always managed to be about 2,000 miles away from where the furniture left and where the furniture arrived. So this time she was taking no risks.
Okay, yes. Well, so today, your life today?
My life today took a turn at the end of the year 2000. I was working as a consultant in Paris with very different customers. Through a common friend, I met with a company called Value Retail, which is not well known, but is known very well known in the UK because it is the company that created Bicester Village. And I visited Bicester Village at the end of 2000. I had some inkling of what the outlet market was, because when I was in New York, I'd visited Woodbury Common several times. Woodbury Common was the first modern outlet where there were luxury brands being sold in a decent environment. There was even Chanel was there, Gucci was there, Zegna was there, and Dior was there. So there were all sorts of luxury brands. And I visited the village in Bicester, which was at those times was 5 years old. And I told myself, well, if it can be done in the US, it can be done in Europe, and the people who are doing it, I think, have a much better view of what the future would be, in as much as the founder of the company, Scott Malkin, had the idea that you could sell clothes in an outlet, but that the outlet had to give the same service and same quality as if it were a full-price store. Mm-hmm. And the main idea was that, and I decided that this was something that would become great in the future. Or at that time, my friends in the luxury business looked at me with these very, very, very sad eyes and said, this poor man, to make a few dollars it's not quite prostitution, but it's something probably worse.
You're happier now?
No, I wasn't unhappy, because I believed in the concept, and I was thoroughly thrilled by the approach of the people who had started the company, because for me they were really creating something absolutely new, which has evolved over the years. But right from the beginning, I was absolutely persuaded that it would be something wonderful, developing in Europe. And in those days, we didn't yet think about China.
Yes, but you said there are 2 stores in China.
Two villages in China, one in Shanghai and one in Suzhou.
And in Europe?
In Europe, there are 9.
9, yeah. Which is the biggest?
The biggest with the highest sales is the first one, which is also the earliest, the one that was established the earlier, which is Bicester Village.
In England?
In England, they're close to about 20 minutes from Oxford.
Yeah, I have actually been there.
Yes, and the village grew and became such something so wonderful that there's even today a train station called Bicester Village.
Ah.
The first train line built in the UK for over the last 125 years has a station at Bicester Village.
Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you very much, Francois, and I wish you luck with your future projects. Thank you very much. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, merci d'être